All right, we're going to take a look at gold again today. I warned that this was going to happen, that these attempts to block gold from getting above that um, intermediate downtrend line and try and artificially keep it suppressed would just, in the end, would just produce a more violent move. But before I do that, um, for those of you interested in subscribing to the SMT newsletter, I'm going to put the link in the description below. I've got a $25, 50% off, $25 discount on your first month subscription. That was supposed to expire today, but I'll run it another day. I'll run it till the market opens tomorrow. Uh, and that link will be in the description below for those of you watching on YouTube. All right, so here's what happens. I've been calling this bottom for some time now. I said we had all the prerequisites, all the parameters have been met for an intermediate cycle low. We had the 5 to 7 day bloodbath phase here. Clearly had a daily cycle low. The odds were very slim that we were going to get 7 daily cycles embedded within the larger intermediate cycle. So very low probability that this daily cycle is going to roll over and make another lower low. So I've been trying to encourage people to get in, get their positions early. And but this is what happens. After a long rally like this, traders become conditioned to expect price to only go up, and they assume that any correction, even an intermediate correction, will be over quickly, and so they can't adapt their thinking or their trading to a different trading environment, one where price isn't going up strongly, but one where price is chopping erratically downward. And then when price doesn't reverse and go up quickly, they get frustrated, and this is when I start to see a lot of novice emotional retail traders cancel their subscription because they just don't have the patience to wait for the right opportunity. They want this to resume, and they want it to resume quickly. And then when it doesn't, they get frustrated and they quit and they give up. So now what is happening is traders have become conditioned to expect only this. So any short-term overbought conditions needed to be sold during the declining phase of an intermediate cycle. But that's not the case now. In the advancing phase of an intermediate cycle, short-term overbought conditions can stay overbought for a considerable period of time. Let me put the RSI in here. All right, so you can see how during this period here, any kind of marginally overbought condition was quickly sold and price continued lower. And ever since this bottom, that has changed, and overbought conditions, while here, even though they didn't hold an overbought level, the dip was not strong enough to push price or push the oscillators back to oversold. So a character change had happened, and now we've got price breaking out. We've got a recognition day above this intermediate trend line, and price is starting to get heavily overbought. The problem is that traders that have become conditioned to this kind of environment are going to continue to try and trade with strategies that worked during the declining phase, and those strategies don't work during the advancing phase. You have to adapt to a different trading environment. And right now we're in the advancing phase of an intermediate cycle. We're only 4 weeks in, I believe. We're only 4 weeks into this. We've probably got at least 10 to maybe even 15 more weeks before this tops. Price is going to break out above this high before this tops. But traders, these amateur, novice type retail traders, they aren't able to adapt to the new trading environment. So they're trying to trade this phase of an intermediate cycle with the same strategies that worked during this phase, and that just doesn't work. overbought. Like I said, overbought can stay overbought for a considerable period of time. So trying to sell overbought conditions in the advancing phase of an intermediate cycle just doesn't work. You just end up missing chunks of the rally. Right now, traders should be not focused on the short-term day-to-day wiggles. You need to focus on the longer intermediate term. And right now, we're still very early in this intermediate cycle, like we were still very early in this part of the intermediate cycle. We had a long ways to go yet. We've still got a long ways to go in this intermediate cycle. So you don't want to sell rallies trying to dodge a dip. The dips will happen. There's no way to really avoid those. It's just that instead of trying to avoid dips, you just want to buy dips at this point, because we're now in a different environment, one where the intermediate cycle is advancing. So we've got our recognition day. The efforts to keep gold suppressed have failed. It's just creating a more aggressive rally as we come out, where gold is breaking through that 1923 resistance zone here. Remember, that was the high in 2011. So all of the manipulation to keep gold suppressed is just making this even more violent than it would have been naturally. So now's the time. You don't want to be afraid to chase into overbought conditions here, and any dips need to be bought at this point for the next couple of months at least. And again, I'll put the link in the description below for those of you viewing on YouTube if you want to become a subscriber to the nightly SMT reports. For the rest of the day until the open tomorrow, I'm going to do a 50% off, $25 off your first month subscription.